So in the previous video, I concluded that the 2025 Shimano Antares provided no performance benefit for short-range techniques like pitching versus reels that I use. But the purpose of the Antares is ultimate long-distance casting of heavier lures. So in this video, we're going to put that to the test. Now to make this interesting, we have to put the Antares up against another reel, of course. So what reel should I challenge the Antares with? That's the question. Now I thought about the DAIWA STEEZ SV because it is priced exactly the same as the Antares, but it would get crushed. So instead I opted to put the Antares up against the reel that is positioned just one level below it in Shimano's lineup, the mighty, enigmatic Metanium DC. Now at Digitaka, the 25 Antares is currently priced right around $400 and the Metanium DC is right around $365, so about a $35 difference. Now on Taka Warehouse, the Antares is $550 versus $500 for the Metanium. So the price gap between them isn't really that big considering how expensive they are. Now of course I wish I could have taken this battle to the casting field and used the measuring wheel, but it's just too hot and humid right now. So instead I opted for an on the water battle using a line counter. Now in this matchup, the Antares holds all the on paper advantages as it has not only a lighter spool than the Metanium, it's also much taller as well at 37 millimeters versus the Metanium's 34. Now the line I used for this battle was 30-pound 8-strand braid, and the rod was a 6'6" medium heavy, and the lure I casted was a 1/2 ounce frog with the legs trimmed. Now let's see what happened. All right, let's not beat around the bush and let me show you the results. Now, taking the win is the Antares with an average of 165.6 feet over the Metanium DC's 153.2 feet. But now it's time to go over my observations, and I have quite a few. Now, the first observation is that while the Antares technically won, visually on the water, the distances looked about the same. Maybe the Antares was casting a little bit farther, by like 5 feet, but keep in mind, the line counter doesn't measure actual distance traveled, it measures how much line was cast out, and on a rainbow cast, the results could be inflated. Now, observation 2 is that both reels didn't cast as far as I expected them to, especially the Antares. I was expecting around the 200 foot range, to be honest, as that was something that the current CURADO 200M could do with heavier braid. And the last observation is that going from the Antares to the Metanium was extremely shocking, and it showed me just how small the Metanium is. I didn't really notice a weight difference, but I absolutely noticed a size difference. So while the Antares won this battle, it failed to impress me once again performance-wise, and I think I understand why. Now, several years ago, I did a casting impressions video of the mighty 2016 Antares DC, a reel that on video casted a plug almost 120 yards as tested by Shimano. Needless to say, I was severely disappointed by its performance when I first took it out on the water. But then I included the 2016 Antares in one of my Casting Olympics videos, and in that video there were 2 stages. Now, stage 1 was casting a 1/2 ounce casting plug, and in this stage there were several reels that actually beat the Antares DC, even a TATULA, which is quite frankly pretty embarrassing. But the second stage is where I discovered what the Antares DC was designed for. Now, in this stage I casted a 3/4 ounce lipless crankbait, and the Antares DC absolutely crushed the competition by over 20 feet easily. So I think that in order to get the best out of this new 25 Antares, you will have to cast lures that are at least 3/4 of an ounce, relatively aerodynamic and dense. Only then will big spooled reels like this be able to stretch their legs and pull away from average spooled reels. But I will say this, you will have to use thin braid to do this because the line capacity is only a 100 size in Shimano terms. So very strange that they bump up the spool size but gave it a relatively small line capacity. So while the new Antares is the most refined and luxurious reel I've ever fished, for my style of fishing, which rarely involves lures over 5/8 of an ounce, it just doesn't make sense for me, especially for the price. So I don't think I'll be getting one. Alright guys, thanks a lot.